A 20-year-old girl films her parents in the living room. The mother laughs, embarrassed, deviating from the lens look. The father poses exaggeratedly, pulling laughter from both. The house is simple, cozy, pictures on the wall, a crochet towel over the sofa. Two hours and 17. Two figures enter through the back window. No noise. Cross the hall. Open the door to the couple's room. The two men stand still. Real estate, by the bed, watch in no hurry. Something disturbing in that calm. The camera freezes in one of their faces. Cold, empty eyes. The kind of look that doesn't belong to someone who still has a soul. What happens next lasts less than 30 seconds. Then they walk to the young woman's room. The door opens slowly. She is lying on her side, sleeping, when suddenly they approach. One of them bends. The hand covers her mouth strongly. She opens her eyes. The scream doesn't come out. Daniel had a degree in philosophy by the Federal University of Minas Gerais. No Brasil. The joke was old. But out there, in the United States, professionals with reasoning, critical headspace in technology companies. That's all it took. He and Camila packed their bags. Camila was a nurse, practice, rational, without patience for what she called freshness, emotional. For her, the world had scientific explanation always. They arrived in Portland in March. The rent was absurd, until a realtor mentioned a house in Millhaven. Small town, 40 minutes away. Price ridiculously below the market. Because so cheap? Daniel asked. The broker chose the words carefully before responding. The house has a history of turnover. Previous owners preferred to leave. Some structural problem? None. Camila signed the contract in the same week. The house was beautiful, old but solid. Dark wood, wide windows, garden with tall trees blocking the light. Still on the first day, while scrapping the bags, one frame under the wall, for no reason. There was no wind. There was no vibration. Simply scream. Camila didn't even look. Daniel looked. Later, organizing the kitchen, he had the clear feeling that someone was standing still, behind him. Turned fast. The kitchen was empty, but the air was cold. Too cold for that time of year. The night he first saw a figure in the hallway, fast as someone who passed and turned the corner. He went there, nothing, just the empty hallway and that cold. That had no explanation. He didn't say anything to Camila, but went to get the camera and the recording in the room, pointed down the hall. If there is something here, he thought, I want to know. The camera recorded all night. Daniel watched the material in the morning, while Camila was still sleeping. For 40 minutes, nothing. Only the silence and the still shadows. Then at 17, the figure appeared. Stop in the middle of the hall. Head tilted to the side. Hair falling over the face. Was left for almost 3 minutes without se mover. Then disappeared. Daniel closed the laptop. He sat in the kitchen until Camila woke up. When she came down, he was pale. "You are fine?" he asked. She replied, "Sleep badly." He didn't show the video to her. Camila started to notice things falling down. A glass in the sink. A pan on the stove. The keys she was sure she left at the bureau, found on the hallway floor. "This house must have a crooked floor," she said. Daniel did not respond. The night he first heard the sound. Steps in the hall, heavy and regular, like someone who a leg that didn't bend. Right. He lay still, with open eyes in the dark. Daniel installed a second camera in the bedroom. He couldn't ignore anymore. The feeling, it was constant now. Sure, something was in the room with him. While sleeping, something that stood still, observing. "You're going to be one of those guys from the videos of YouTube Ghost," Camila said, laughing. "Camila, something is happening here, Daniel." "The house is old, makes noise. You are with emotional jet lag." He did not answer. Only checked the camera angle, made sure the room was squared, and went to sleep. Or tried. The room camera recorded everything. Camila got out of bed at 2:70 sharp. For 2 hours and 40 minutes. She stood still by the bed, the arms along the body, the slightly inclined head. Daniel didn't wake up. In the morning, when he reviewed the material and saw his hands shook so much that he knocked over the notebook, he showed Camila. She watched in silence. "I don't remember raising eye." "Let's call someone. A doctor. It could be sleepwalking." But her eyes were looking at the camera. Not for him. Daniel spent the whole day researching. Were the locations, scanned audio files, public records. What he found drew air from his lungs. 1,990. Harmon family. Richard, 60 years. Susan, 55. And daughter Maya, 20 years. Photo gallery. Parents were found in the fourth dead. The faces completely disfigured and recognizable. The report indicated that the two were replaced at the same time while sleeping. Didn't have time to react. Maya was not found immediately. When was? The first on-site investigations were dismissed. Before the end. The expert report was sealed for years. But parts leaked over time. And what was in those pages doesn't get out of my head. Maya had been brutally assaulted. During the aggression, one of the legs, the right leg, was moved at the height of the basin. Due to such violence, the skin of the face has been removed while she was still alive, and finally, was suffocated slowly. The two murderers were arrested 6 months later. Died in prison before the trial. By natural causes. Neither of the two had a history of illness. 3 families had lived in the house after the Harmons. The first left on the second day, the second on the third, the third A young couple just disappeared. The belongings were there. The car in the garage, the open bags, were never found. Daniel closed the notebook, looked down the hall, and for the first time, he was really afraid. Not something vague, not something abstract. Maya's fear. Things scaled fast. The cameras recorded the figure every night, always at 17. On, always with a tilted head. Always that leg that didn't bend. Sometimes in the hallway, sometimes in the room. On the 8th day, it was inside the room, stop in the corner, looking at the bed where the two slept. Camila stopped sleeping, stayed awake, sitting in bed, looking at the walls. When Daniel spoke to her, she answered. But there was a strange delay, as if the answer came from far away. No 9th day. Daniel tried to leave. The car did not start. The cell phone had no signal. As internet goes, he went to the nearest neighbor's house, 300 meters, and knocked on the door for 20 minutes. Nobody answered. When he returned, Camila was in the kitchen. Back to him, stop. Camila, she didn't become Camila. She turned slowly. The face was normal. The eyes were normal. But she smiled like Daniel had never seen before. In it, comes to lunch, she said. Tomorrow will be the last day. The room camera recorded everything. Camila got up at 2:17, this time without slowness, with purpose. The camera, locked image, became total static. But the studio continued recording. Daniel woke up. He screamed, desperate. I leave. Under his voice, growing little by little until it covers everything. A guttural scream, demonic. The kind of sound that doesn't come from human intelligence. Then silence. The training lasted 4 minutes. The camera came back. Camila was lying next to Daniel. Quiet, eyes closed. Maya suddenly appears in the room. Her face for real. It was apparent. Bloodied property, with eyes closed and a weak breath of one who is about to die. In the morning, Camila woke up. She turned to the side, saw Daniel. Camila in shock. Just thought, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. The police arrived in 11 minutes. Camila was outside, hugging rocks, repeating nonstop, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. She was arrested the same afternoon, considered the main and only suspicion. The cameras were collected as evidence. The WHO opened the files, asked, departure the next day, and never went back to work. On the same night as the prison, at 17, Camila's cell camera recorded the moment where she was there. And then I was no longer. Cell was locked, the padlocks intact. No alarm went off. An external camera caught on the side street a figure walking in the dark. Walked with difficulty, missing right leg. The foot, like something on that side doesn't work anymore. The figure reached the edge of the camera's range and disappeared in the dark. Camila was never found. Until today, the police cannot explain how she disappeared from inside a cell, locked. The house in Millhaven is still standing. The bedroom camera is still there, stuck on the wall, pointed to bed. To the present date, no one else bought or rented the house. Probably, Maya is still there. She has patience to wait for the next one.